Morning as we start the chitas of today's Sunday. Today we start the new Parshas Chayesara. As we ended off last week's Parsha with the story of the Akedah, the bringing up of Isaac as a sacrifice. The Medrash says that Sarah was told about it and she had a sudden passing. And this was the life of Sarah. Meir Shana, she lived 100, Vesim Shana, and 20, Vesheva Shanim, she lived 127 years. Shnei Chayesara, this was the life of Sarah. So Rashi says the reason why the word years was written after every digit, every year, it says Meir Shana, 100 years, Esrim Shana, 20 years, 7 years, is to tell us that every time was to be expounded upon individually. When she was 100 years old, she was like 20 years old regarding sin. And we know until 20 years old, God does not judge anybody in sin. Thus, a 20-year-old does not sin because she's not liable to punishment. So even though she's an adult, or he's an adult, till 20 years old, God does not judge them. So too, when one is 100, when she was 100 years old, she was without any sin, and when she was 20, she was like 70 in regard to her beauty. So she was all in the same age. Shnei Chayesara, these are the years of Sarah. Kulam Shavul Teva, all of them, whether she was 100, whether she was 120, whether she was 7, it was all equally good. The beauty is that even though she had a hard life, it was all equally good. Thomas Sarah and Sarah died, passed away in Kiryat Arba. He Chevron, which is in the Chevron, Be'eretz Canaan, the land of Canaan. Vayave Avram, l'spei Sarah l'vkeisa. And Avram came to eulogize Sarah and to bewail her. Rashi says the city of 4, Kiryat Arba, so named because the 4 giants that were there. Achiman, Sheisha, Talmi. So we're talking about Kiryat Arba, they lived over there, 4 giants. Another explanation, because of the 4 couples that were buried there, and that was Adam and Eve, Abraham and Sarah, Isaac and Rebekah, and Jacob and Leah. It's interesting that Rashi chooses the first one to be the 4 giants, because it was called Kiryat Arba in the time of Avram Avinu. So therefore, there was nobody there buried yet, besides Adam and Chava. Avram, where was Avram? So Avram came in Beersheba from Beersheba, because Avram just came back from the story of Yitzchak. He wasn't there when she passed away. So Avram Avinu came, and he found that his wife has passed away. Lispa the son of Kesa. Rash says, the account of Sarah's demise was next to the story of the binding Yitzchak. As I said, because of the result of the news of the Akedah, that her son was prepared to be killed and was almost slaughtered, she passed away. She had a sudden death. Avram stood up from his dead. And he spoke to the sons of Ches. And he said, I am a stranger and a Seisham, and the one who lives here. Give me a burial property in your midst. So he wanted to buy a burial place. So Rashi says, I'm a stranger from another land, and I've settled amongst you. Consequently, I have no ancestral plot here. But the Medrash says, if you're willing to sell me a property, I'm a stranger. If not, I'm telling you, this land was given to me by God, so I'm taking it legally. For the Holy One, blessed be, said to your seed, I'll give you the land. We have a possession of land for burial places. Where we learn in general, Avram Avinu had to buy a burial place, very quickly because his wife was not alive. But he didn't buy it for himself. He bought it also for his son already and for his grandson. So here we see we buy burial places for something in the future. It's not something in negative to have pre-planning and buying a burial place for the future. So they said, so the children of Ches said to Avram, Shma'ena Adeni, verse 6, Shma'ena Adeni, listen, my Lord. You're like a God, you're like a Prince of God in the midst of us. You choose the best place. No one will withhold his grave from you. So that says no one will withhold. You will not withhold your mercies, and similarly you will not. So no one will withhold. No one will say, "Oh, but I have this place first." Anybody will give you up their own place. Yaakov rose and he bowed down to the people. He was pleased with their answer, but he was not happy. So he said to them, "Listen, if it is your will that I bury my dead among you, listen to me. Come and find me Ephraim ben Seicha." Because he wanted the Ma'aras Machpelah, he wanted a specific place that was owned by Ephraim. Your will, expression of begging, and ask him to give me the Ma'aras Machpelah, which belongs to him, which is at the edge of his property, and I'm going to pay him full price. In your midst, Rashi says, why was it called a machpelah? Machpelah is a bayis baliyah gaba. It's like a couple of stories. So either it was like a cave that had like 2 stories in it. That's machpelah, double. Or he called it double because it was a grave. It was a place he can bury a couple of people. The kasa mali, meaning full value. I'm going to pay full value. So did David say to Arnon, say also when he bought David HaMelech, when he bought Yerushalayim, to have Maharab Miriah to build the Beis Mikdash, to pay full value. Ephraim was actually sitting in the midst of Neches. So Ephraim said, as Avram Beis Neches said in front of everybody, to everybody that came into the city, he made a public announcement. Leimer saying, Yoshev is missing a vav. Because Oisa Yom that day, meaning he just sat, on that very day was appointed him as an officer over them. Because of the importance of Ram, who needed him to rose. So he became a Kanaka in the day that Avram needed him to have that power. For they all left their work to come and pay respect to Avram. So all of them came to the funeral. And here Avram was doing a funeral, and he had no burial place. And therefore he turned to Ephraim, and Ephraim said, "No, my Lord, listen to me. I've given you the land. Here it is. You have the whole thing. I'm doing it in public, not a private giving. I'm giving it publicly, so everybody will know. I'm giving you this land for free. Bury your dead." So that says you shall not buy it with money. It is though I've given it to you as a gift. Avram again prostrated himself. He said, "Wow, what a kind gesture." What he said, but he said again, "You listen to me. I want to pay for it. I'm not interested in gifts. I want to pay for it. Take the money. I want to pay for it. I don't want anybody to say this was a gift. I want it to be mine. I want to pay for it." So Rashi says, you tell me to listen to you and take it for free. I don't wish to do that. But if you only would listen to me, if only halavai, you would listen to me and you would take the money. So Rashi says, I have given. Nasati, I have given. Sounds like in the past, we may have given. He didn't give anything yet. So Avraham Avinu says, it's like it's there already. I don't have to go get the money. It's like I've given the money. It's already there. It's there. You don't have to, I don't have to go find the money. I have to go get the money. The money is here. And it's in your possession. I'm giving it to you. It's like I've given it to you already. You want to buy it? I need 400 shekel of silver. What's 400 shekel of silver between us? Bury it then. Like good friends like us. What's 400 shekel? Of what importance is 400 shekel of silver? Rather leave the sale and bury it then. So Avram listened to Ephron, and Avram weighed out to Ephron the silver that he had named, that he named in front of the people. Abba Meya shekel kesef. He gave him 400 shekel of silver. Accepted by the merchants. As Rashi is going to say that this was a very high level of silver that was accepted around the world. Certain money was not accepted in different countries, but here was a silver coin that everybody accepted. It was a very high value. So by Yishkal Avram, Ephraim took, it's missing a vav in the word Ephraim, because he promised much but did not little. He promised the cave as a gift, and he took the great amount of money. So he took from him large shekels, its interior worth 100 smaller shekels, as is stated, accepted by the merchants. They were accepted as full shekels everywhere. So this was money that in other places, 1 shekel was 100 shekel, because the value of this money was accepted everywhere as very high valued money. And that they accepted it in full shekel everywhere. For some places have a large shekel, and some places have a small shekel. So this way, this was a very expensive coin. But Avram was willing to give it, and Ephraim suddenly was willing to take it. And that completes the Chumash of the day, and we go to the Tanya of the day. We are in chapter 28 of Tanya, which the Alter Rebbe again writes a letter about the passing of a great tzaddik. And he started off yesterday, Tanya, that the passing of a tzaddik is like the red heifer, which comes to forgive and comes to purify the dead. So the Gemara says, why does the Parah Aduma near the death of Miriam to tell us that the passing of a tzaddik is like a sacrifice, and it brings about cleansing of the Jewish nation. So that's why Miriam, this death, the passing of Miriam, is right next to the law of the red heifer. And the Alter Rebbe tries to explain, and he explains yesterday a little bit already, what is the power of the red heifer, that it reaches up to a level that's higher than the world, where it has the capability, this carbon has the capability to purify something that is impure. So something that's impure, and even the highest level of impurity, which is a Parah Aduma, comes to pure a person that touched a dead body, which a dead person is the highest level of impurity. So how does this red heifer pure him? And the Alter Rebbe, which is one of the Chukei HaTorah, it's above understanding, and the Alter Rebbe explains it like Kabbalah. And he says, the Alter Rebbe now explains how this relates to the passing of a tzaddik. For likewise, it draws down a degree of illumination that utterly transcends the world, transforming its darkness into light. And that's what happens when a tzaddik passes away. The power of the tzaddik in his passing, as he mentioned in the letter 27, is greater than when he's alive. So the power of the tzaddik when he passes has a power that brings forgiveness on the Jewish people, because it has such a light. He creates such a light in the world that's higher than the world itself. transforming the darkness into light and bringing about atonement for the sins of the generation. It's known that Abba, the father, Kabbalistic name for Sfiras HaChochma. Right? Chochma in general is called Abba, father. Bina is called Ima, mother. So it's Yonik Mimazel Hashmini. So Chochma sustains, that's why Chochma, that's why Chassidus explains always, that Chochma is Koyach Mas, potential. Chochma is connected to wisdom, but it's higher than wisdom, because it's connected to Mazel Hashmini, the 8th Mazel, meaning the 8th in the Torah, the emanation of the 13 attributes of mercy, which corresponds to the 13 tufts of the celestial beard. The individual hairs in which are conduit for the emanation of the tenuous flow of life force. So there's the 13 attributes of mercy, which is connected physically to in Kabbalah. It's connected to the beard, and that's why many Jews do not touch their beard, because it's corresponding to the 13 principles of mercy, and we're connected. Who tikkun noitzer chesed. The 8th one is noitzer chesed. Appears to be above listing noitzer chesed. He guards chesed for thousands of generations. Noitzer chesed. He's the one who creates chesed. So the Eibishter chesed is kindness in the world, and then you have noitzer chesed, the one who gives chesed, the one who creates. Noitzer is the word noitzer, to create. Noitzer asir reitzen. So the Alter Rebbe, we explain, noitzer has another meaning, and noitzer means ratzain, divine favor. So when you say it's a favor, it's higher than ches. It's higher than even the concept of ches that comes through the aspect of the world. It's a concept of divine favor. V'eis ratzain. And it's a very divine favor time. It's an auspicious time. This is in general. You should know that when a person passes, at that time of passing, there's a revelation of chesed in the world. And those that are close to the person that have passed away it's a very challenging time when a person passes for the family. But the truth is that you realize really that's a very powerful time, because at that time it's the rasan of chesed, the divine favor of kindness is revealed in the world. That becomes revealed and radiated, but especially by a tzaddik. It reveals and radiates and manifests in a way from above downward at the time of the passing of a tzaddik of stature. Why? Because this tzaddik serves God in love, with the surrendering of the soul to God. They didn't just serve God; they served God with love. In their life, in the morning and the evening, when they said Shema, when they said Ve'ahavta, they said Ve'ahavta. So they brought out love in the world. And through their prayers and through their love, they elevated the feminine waters from below. They would initiate a spiritual arousal, expressing the desire to receive a flow of divine energy. To the mother, to Abba and Iba, to the mother and father, which is Chachma and Bina, wisdom and understanding during the reading of the Shema as it's known. And so too in their learning of Torah, the Mechach Benaf, which comes from Chachma itself. This too is a result of elevation of Mayim Nukman towards Chachma. Thereby Mayim Duchen, the masculine waters which they are on, flows from above. So through their elevation from below came down a flow from above, which elicited and drew down for the tafet of Noitzer Chesed, since it's from this divine attribute that Chachma draws its sustenance, as stated above. And indeed, These illumination that radiates in a manifest way at the time of the passing of a tzaddik. So we have to realize the Alter Rebbe is telling these students, these followers of Levi Yitzchak, this is a letter written the passing of Levi Yitzchak Baditchev. And he wrote this letter to his followers, and he said, listen, don't realize what you can acquire from the tzaddik now, even after his passing. The illumination that's drawn down through the self-sacrifice of the tzaddik during his lifelong recitation of the Shema and the Torah study becomes revealed at the time of the passing even greater. As it's known, it is known all efforts of man in which his soul toiled during his lifetime and which remains above is a hidden, obscure state. Gala, it's all hidden. We don't see. When the tzaddik's alive, not always do we see this. Because the problem is that we see the body of the tzaddik. And we don't see, per se, his ava and his yida and his learning. But when he dies, now it revealed and radiates in a manifest way, from above downwards, in the time of his passing. Thus, all unseen spiritual effects of the tzaddik, reading of the Shema, the Torah study, are all revealed in the world below at the time of the passing. Now, by the illumination of the tuffet of Noitzer Chesed that is revealed at the time of the passing of tzaddik, Meir Chesed Hashem Ma'olam Adolam. The kindness of God radiates from world to world, from the world of the concealment down to the world of revelation, over those who fear. Upoyel Yeshua is bekever haaretz, and infects salvation in the midst of the earth. Lechaper al ovid ador, to atone the sins of the generation. V'gav gam al zdeinis, and they forgive even on those sins that you did intentionally. It's even, that's the power of the tzaddik. Tzaddik loves God, and the tzaddik loves every Jew. And he can bring forgiveness not only on sins that have some shine in them, because they were done unintentionally, even on sins that are done intentionally, like a dead body, like the impurity of a dead body. That's the highest level of impurity. So too, the power of a tzaddik is to purify even the sins that are like the ultimate sins that were done intentionally. Why? Because it's Noitzer Chesed. Lefisha Mazel the Noitzer Chesed. Because the Mazel of Noitzer Chesed, the one who gives Chesed, the Eibishter, is the Meichenes Timoin of Arachampin, Chochma of Keser, which is the source of the task of Berurim, the refined material world by extracting and uplifting divine sparks within. And the darkness incurred by the breaking of the vessels is thereby converted into the light of the world of Tikkun. And that's in general, when we learn in general that through the tshuva ma'ava, tshuva out of love, we elevate even negative into positive. So the ava of a tzaddik, as long as we connect to this tzaddik, his ava can change the negative into positive. This is not the case, though, to the sacrifices that are offered on the altar. A sacrifice in general only forgives on unintentional sin. There's no sacrifice for intentional sin. Because it's an animal. Only the para aduma. So the para aduma, which was not even brought in the Beis Hamikdash, was burnt on the other side of the mountain. For that reason, only the para aduma can forgive an impurity. Only the tzaddik, not even a carbon, not even a sacrifice, can forgive a negative sin that was done intentionally. Only the passing of a tzaddik, because his love And only the passing of a tzaddik, because his love that he had in his whole life surface of love and a self-sacrifice for love of God is revealed when he passes away. And is stronger when he passes away than even when he's alive. And therefore the passage of para duma, that's what Rashi says, the Gemara says. Now why does the para duma connected to the death of Miriam? Because just like the para duma has more powerful than a sacrifice. It purifies the impure, which no sacrifice can do that. So to the passing of Miriam or Tzadekis, she has the capability to forgive the ultimate sins of a yid, even that a sacrifice cannot do. And Parshmini over there reads the water of purification. That completes the Tanya of today. Very powerful Tanya of the day. Today is the 18th day of the month, and the Tillim of today is the Tillim of the day is chapter 88, 89, 88 and 89. 88 and 89 in Tillim and Psalms does do chapter 88 and 9, you do the chitas of the day. My friends, Misham, today at 10 a.m., we're going to learn the gates of trust at Chabad or right here on Torah, on Facebook, TorahDirect.com. Have a wonderful and beautiful day, a wonderful and beautiful week.